Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I'm here for Poppy Stamps today, and I have a really fun holiday shaker card that is made with the brand new Poppy Stamps Pinpoint Shaker Ornament die, as well as the Poppy Stamps Retro Ornaments die and the Joy Outline dies. So I want to show you how I used all of these dies to create a really clean and simple shaker card. No stamping, no inking, no messiness, just die cutting. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Poppy Stamps Pinpoint Shaker Ornament die. Comes with that little ornament shape and the cap for the shape, and I'm going to cut both out of Gina K Designs metallic silver cardstock. I'm just using my Spellbinders 2-in-1 to poke out that frame. You can see that you get the frame there, you get that centerpiece, and then there's also the cap. I am going to take just the frame and cut it out a bunch more times. I'd say like 5 or 6. Okay, now I'm taking a look at the Poppy Stamps Retro Ornaments die. You can see that the largest one is going to work. Anything smaller than the largest one, because I'm going to cut out the acetate here, and I'm using a precision base plate for that. Anything smaller than that largest die and it would just fit inside, and I need it to be kind of like a cover for my shaker. So I'm going to run it through back and forth with that precision base plate on my die cutting machine, and it cut out our piece of acetate. That makes it super easy. Now I have the Joy Outline die, and there's 2 dies in this set. There's that outline shape of the Joy where all the letters are connected, and then there's the interior pieces where they are broken apart. The die is all one, but when you lift it up you can see that it cuts out those interior pieces so they're just separate from each other. Okay, I'm going to layer some cardstock, some 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch red cardstock underneath some 4 by 5 1/4 inch green cardstock. These are both from Fawn, and I'm using some Thermoweb Memory Runner XL, which is just my favorite tape runner, to adhere it down to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch top folding note card. So now I just want to play with the placement of my card a little bit. Like I said, it's going to be clean and simple, so I just want to lay it out, make sure I have room for everything, and make sure everything's going to be centered. And I use my mat for that. I use those lines on my mat. I kind of line up the card a little bit to give me an idea if my pieces are centered on that card panel. Okay, I'm going to use the tape runner to adhere that outline Joy down, and then I'm also adhering the first frame down to my card panel, and I tuck in the adhesive if some of it kind of hangs off the side there. You don't want any adhesive on the inside there because that's where your shaker goodies are going to be, and you don't want them sticking. Okay, now I'm going to use that same tape runner to adhere the top part of the Joy Outline dies, and I'm going to use the red cardstock to bring that back from the card panel onto that Joy there. And this is really easy to do. This is not such a small or thin or detailed die that you need to put the adhesive on the back or use thin adhesive behind it. You can just use a tape runner. It's really, really easy. You could use liquid adhesive as well. Okay, now I'm going to stack up some of these frames. So I'm just laying it on top of each other and trying to decide if I want the interior piece. I decided that I did. I'm going to have this be a silver ornament with shakers inside. So I went back and forth on this. So you could absolutely leave that interior piece out, just stack the frames and then put your shakers inside. I decided I liked the silver on the inside. I really wanted this ornament to be kind of a central focus to the card. So now I'm going to continue stacking my frames. Like I said, I think I cut out 5 or 6. You could use instead some fun foam and just cut out 1 or 2 pieces of fun foam. I decided I wanted the side of this to be silver as well. So that's the beauty of using cardstock and just cutting out multiple pieces of cardstock, because when you look at the ornament from the side, it's also going to be silver. It won't be white. So I'm stacking them up one on top of the other until I get enough height that I know that there's a dip in the middle big enough that my shakers are going to move around. And I have some Queen & Co shakers. These are Toppings. They're called Rubble. So they kind of have these very funky mismatch shapes and pieces of silver in there, which I really, really like. I think it's so much fun. Now I'm going to take the acetate and I'm going to use my tape runner and just run a thin line of adhesive right around there, making sure that I get it all around the edges of that acetate so that none of my shaker goodies fall out. But I don't like the look of seeing the adhesive under the acetate, so I use my last frame to lay right on top, and then you won't see it. Your shaker stays together. It's super strong with that tape runner, and I have 2 of the caps. I decided I only needed 2 just to give it a little bit of extra dimension, but nothing too crazy. I don't need the 5 or 6 for this one because I'm going to lay it on top of the shaker. Okay, I'm going to tie it with a little bit of sparkle string from Queen & Co. Just going to put a bow on there. You could also pretend to hang the ornament from your card panel by tucking it behind the green there, but I just liked the way the bow looked on this and just kind of a messy bow there. And then last but not least, I'm going to do some very simple embellishing with some gold confetti from Pretty Pink Posh. And I'm just going to move these around until I get what I feel like is an organic sprinkling of them on the back. For some reason, I really struggle with this, so it takes me a little bit of time to just keep moving them around until I stop and finally say, like, okay, enough is enough. This looks good, or it's good enough. Nobody's gonna look at my card and be like, oh my gosh, she put too many pieces of confetti, or not enough over here, or whatever. Sometimes I do call in a second set of eyes, and I'm like, do you want another one right here? And my son is looking at me like I'm crazy. So that completes this shaker card. It was really easy to put together. I hope you'll give it a try and check out these new Poppy Stamps Pinpoint shaker ornaments and retro ornaments. I'll have all the supplies linked down below if you're interested. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel here if you'd like. You can also check out my blog for more information. And as always, I'll have a couple more videos that you might be interested in. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a wonderful day.